Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Roots and Wings, a podcast dedicated for small and medium sized business owners, leaders about strategic growth. I am Jennifer He, your fractional chief marketing officer.
Hi, everybody.
And David.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm David Solomon. I'm your fractional chief revenue officer.
So, this episode, what are we talking about,
Well,
David?
look, we're going to talk a lot about networking.
Mm,
And what's crazy for people is that they look at networking as blech, it's a bad experience. It's cliquish.
mhm,
It's cocktails. It's,
mhm,
what it's not. If you treat networking right, you will grow your business, you will
mhm,
grow your circle of influence, you'll grow your
mhm,
network. It's amazing
mhm,
what can be done. So that's what we
mhm.
want to talk about today, Jennifer.
Yeah. So networking and network differently. If you wanted a change. So when we speak about this word, what comes to your mind first? And I know, what comes to my mind first.
Networking, what used to come to my mind when I
Mhm.
started about 10 years ago, when I went to a few networking events, even longer than that, but up till about 10 years ago,
Yeah.
I would have preferred to go to the dentist. I had no interest in this, to meet people who were fake,
Mhm.
to go into a room where everybody is pitching. I had no interest in going to that, Jennifer. And that
Mhm.
perception still runs in a lot. I know a lot of people who still believe in that.
Mhm.
What's been
Mhm.
your experience when it comes to networking?
Um, so I'm thinking about more personality from personality perspective. Big picture wise, we have three kinds of personality, right? We have extrovert, introvert, and ambivert.
Yeah.
So I am an ambivert. Like I react to the environment. Um, my personal experiences so far is extrovert. They actually get energy out of social events, and introvert not so much. And also it depends on your purpose. I think if you have a purpose, say objective, this podcast we're talking about business, because business, usually for business development people, sales and
Mhm.
marketing, we want to know more people. We want to drive traffic. We want to close deals. We want people to know what our business is about, what our brand is about. So we're out there a lot. And if you have a purpose, and some people, yeah, when they have a purpose, they were like, oh, I have to do it. But majority of people don't like it. So let's talk about why people don't like it. How can you get energy out of it?
Well, it's so funny. You bring up very interesting the extrovert, the ambivert, and the introvert. No one will accuse me of being an introvert. I'm an extrovert because I have to be, and I think I'm trending more to an ambivert because if you ask me, I need to shut it down every once in a while. I need to be
Mhm,
quiet.
mhm,
And there are times I've gone into networking circles where
mhm,
I just sat in the corner. But what people think about networking, they think it's only for extroverts. And as an introvert, I'll get lost, I'll get drowned, no one will listen to
mhm,
me, whatever.
mhm,
And I think this is where an introvert needs to understand that this is an opportunity. It's uncomfortable. Even ambiverts, it's uncomfortable to get out of your comfort zone and go into these environments.
mhm,
But it really does change you and it does make you better. And
mhm,
so, even my shy wife, God bless her, I love her to pieces, has realized that, yeah, going to, let's call them safe networking environments,
yeah.
make you better. And it's very exciting.
Mhm. So, David, is it like your muscle memory? If you do it more, you will handle it or master this better.
like
Do
any like everything, I think practice, uh, I won't say makes perfect, but
it.
one of the first things I tell people when they go into a networking environment is, like I said at the beginning, don't pitch. I don't want to hear
Mhm,
your pitch. But if you go into the room with the idea of, I want to go meet people that I want to connect with after the event,
mhm,
not at the event, because there's dozens of people, could be hundreds of people. And my objective is to walk out with a couple of names that I'll have a coffee, a meal, a video call, whatever it is, face to face, where we could sit down without the cacophony of a networking event and
Mhm.
dig into each other and dig into what we both do and what we both need in life, business, or whatever.
Mhm.
And so, muscle memory, what you just said. So, the first thing I tell everybody is be prepared not to give your elevator pitch. That was a whole other podcast we've done. But be prepared to tell people what you do, how you do it, and why you do it in a very brief, tight, and concise way.
Mhm.
Don't go into War and Peace. Don't give 1,000-page dissertation
Mhm.
of what you do. No one's
Mhm.
listening.
Yeah, because too much information, right? For
Hype.
instance, if you only have an hour and you
Yeah,
want to know like 3 people or 10 people out of this event, and you wouldn't have the time, and people wouldn't have that energy
100%.
to digest what you said.
100%. And the second thing I tell everybody is please ask questions. Just don't be a good listener. Don't be ready to speak.
Mm.
Ask a lot of good questions, and which could then propel you to, hey, you know what? This is awesome. Let's go book some time together so I can
Mhm.
get more into. Because if I give you an hour, we can get into so much information. But if I only have 3 minutes with you, I'm not getting into anything significant, and then we
Mhm.
are not connecting.
Mhm.
So be prepared to ask a lot of questions, which and they're very easy ones. Hey, so what do you do? Who do you do it for? What makes you different? Who are some people that you'd be interested in connecting with? Let's go
Mhm.
meet some other time and I can dig deeper into what you do. Those
Mhm.
questions, easy peasy.
Yeah. So that having those questions to open that person up
Absolutely.
to get to the next level of conversations. So you just mentioned the have the right mindset going into a networking event, right? Not
Mhm.
like, oh, I wanted to uh, meet this person and for this person to do this for me.
Sure.
You're not going to achieve that
Nope.
like in an hour, especially you don't know that person. That person doesn't know who you are.
Correct. Absolutely. And the truth of the matter is they're there likely for the same reason as you are, to meet
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And you they might be interesting for you, you might not be interesting for them.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember that it's it's like speed dating in these things. You're going to go and you're going to go from person to person. So to have someone and talk to them for 25 minutes,
Yeah.
very hard.
Yeah.
So I always tell everybody just be prepared. It's quick, and the purpose is just to set up a call, to have a phone, have your agenda ready. Tell them,
Mm-hmm.
hey, let's have a coffee. When are you available? I'm
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer. I'm going to be in your area
Mm-hmm.
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You want to meet for coffee? It totally makes the whole thing relaxed and easy to go. And if they say no, they say no, and you have to move
Mm-hmm.
on to the next person. So
Yeah.
this is what we're, and it's again, please do not try to sell in these things. It's just bad practice.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I'm going to share with you, and I'm doing the bad part of it is I'm talking more than you are,
Mm.
and and I know you and I, when we do our podcasts, we know we share. So it
Mm.
doesn't matter if I'm talking more than you are on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But in a networking event, it does. And when you have the perception that you are talking for 15 minutes and you give the other person two, that's not fair. So it's not going to be perfectly equal,
Mm-hmm.
but don't hog all the time.
Yeah. That's not even fair. That defeats your purpose.
Correct.
And David, you are a fractional chief revenue officer, and you know this well. And to close deal, like the salesperson, um, 75% of the time you should ask questions. And I've seen these days we have AI applications, right? They track you. If you talk too much as a salesperson, they will warn you. So basically, yeah, don't you want more information from your target audience, not you talking all the time. So the
Yep.
person who talks a lot is not selling.
And
Um,
I'll tell you one of the things that is that not every event, but in
mm,
a lot of opportunities where you're going to closed events, whether it's a BNI or corporate connections, provisors, or some of these other kinds of groups, you can get a list in advance of who's attending. Take the time and research them.
Yeah.
Take
Do
the
your
time to
homework
find it.
before the event.
Do your homework, just like a salesperson. Do your homework.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed, because if you went and you said, "Wow, you come to the network group and I see Jennifer He," and I'm like, "Who is she?" And only after do you hear what she does, you're like, "Oh, I need to speak to Jennifer." But had I known in advance about Jennifer, and I would have targeted her as a person I really wanted of interest, and I want to speak to her, and you've created an engagement, you've created an interest, and that is exciting. That makes a huge difference to the people that you're talking to. So really, if you can, I mean, you go to a Chamber of Commerce event, it's a lot harder. I get it. But when you're going to those closed type of groups like I was talking about, take the time, find out who's in the room, learn more, and then talk to those people first.
Yeah. So I have a tough question for you,
Uh-oh.
Dave.
Oh no.
We can talk about longer term, like don't think too much about short term transactional. But what if I have a sales quota, right? So I have a sales target I'm trying to meet, and the time is so like precious, and I wanted to use my time as a salesperson as much as I can. That's how I seem to be Russian to talk a lot about myself. So how do I work with or cope with this anxiety that I have as a salesperson? To know somebody, close deal really quickly.
First of all, you don't. Because if you're under stress and you're under pressure and you want to close a deal quickly, don't go to a networking event. You're not going to get what you want, and you're going to freak out and you're going to flop. Networking isn't fast. Networking is playing the mid to long game.
Okay.
And
That's very important,
yeah,
to
you
know.
can't, if you're going into a networking event expecting to get 5 leads,
Right away and
it's not
close.
shooting fish in a barrel. It's not like that. You're going into a networking event to create relationships. So I explain it to people like this. You and I meet for the first time in a networking event. We best friends? We're
No.
not best friends. We're not even friends. We're hardly acquaintances. We don't
Mhm.
know each other.
Mhm.
And now all of a sudden you're saying to me, but I got no leads. Of course not. It's not going to happen.
Mhm.
So the first thing I tell everybody is you need 2, 3, maybe even 5 sit downs with people, depending on what you do, before you'll start to get something. I need your trust. I need to know that your reputation is is high enough, and for that, if I refer you, you're not going to ruin my reputation.
Mhm.
So I really need to validate your professionalism. I want to hear what you've done for other people. I want to be able to validate that if I refer you, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So if you're going in there expecting handouts, don't. The other thing I tell everybody is you expect to get, you should be expect to give. Now it's not equal. Again, I've had this conversation with so many times lately. It's not a quantity game, people. It's a quality game. I
Mhm.
might give you 5 names and they may not work out, but I tried to give you 5 good names.
Mhm.
I give you the 6th name and suddenly that's the greatest contract you sign all year.
Mhm.
Don't think I can't say, well, I gave you 6 opportunities. So
Mhm.
like, it's not a game of 50-50. In a good networking opportunity, in a relationship building, you are sharing.
Mhm.
If you're sitting here with a ledger, don't.
Mhm.
Because you're not going to get leads, because it's not about that.
Yeah.
The final piece of advice I tell everybody is if you ask for leads, the chances are no. But who are your referral partners? Who are the people who can refer you business? So
Mhm.
in my world, I tell everybody I love working with fractional chief marketing officers. Why? We are both talking to the same decision maker about the same subject from 2 different angles.
Mhm.
So there's a like-mindedness, and a marketer such as yourself, Jennifer, will say, David, I spoke to this business owner. They need somebody in sales.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Let's go do this together. I
Mhm.
have the same thing with chief financial officers. I do this the
Mhm.
same with other people.
Mhm.
Who are the trusted circle of referral partners that you could ask for? Those are way easier for someone to give you as a referral
Yeah.
than a client.
Yeah.
So Be prepared with that, and be willing to share your network of people that you can send them to referral partners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So totally. And yeah, you just mentioned, so importantly, before going to a networking event, you need to recognize what this is. It's not the step before you close the deal. It's actually the very first step in your clients or, your target audience purchasing process. So
Right.
somebody just know you, it's the awareness piece.
Absolutely. And oh, by the way, Jennifer, I'm going to blow people's socks off.
Mm,
Have you ever thought about going into a networking event and asking for a connection for your clients? Whoa, why would I do? People have said to me, why would I do that? What's the benefit?
mm,
Think of the relationship you've just now forged with your client, saying, we had a conversation, you talked about something, you said you were looking for a piece of software, da da da. It's not, I make nothing off of it. But let me introduce you to 2 or 3 people that I know,
yeah.
trusted people that I make no commission off of them. I make I don't get any referral fees off of them, zero. But I thought of you.
Mm,
Here are 2 or 3 names. Your relationship with your client has just gone through, even prospects, by the way, Jennifer.
mm,
People who've told me no. I've sent them people and said, hey, this person can help your business.
yeah.
So networking could be more, it's not just about you. Think of everybody around you who can benefit from you making an introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Personal, business, you name it.
Mm-hmm. That's very cool. So we talked about from us going to a networking event from individual perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've also paid attention to what organizations can do
Yeah,
from
right.
organization perspective.
So let me ask you, Jennifer, because you and I had talked about that.
Hmm.
Often I go to these events and I'm on my own.
Yeah.
What have you seen? What have you experienced where the organization has implicated themselves for the participants?
I think a lot of people, are frustrated about, they call it ineffective social networking. I think they wanted to connect with people and get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, they go to an event, we have this format of a panel discussion. That's a, very like common format. And after the panel discussion, you are left with 15 minutes of Q&A. And
Right.
after Q&A, networking event, half an hour, this and that. But we're all busy people, right? Sometimes you can stay longer,
Right.
sometimes you can't. So I've always thought about, okay, from organizational perspective, like from the organizer perspective, what can they do for the participants and to have that kind of engagement. So I have some insights and I have some methods and I've done things which
Okay.
have good results.
Please
And
share.
so, for instance, we can have structured conversation. And yeah, I've been a co-host of a organization called Canada China Capital Markets. So, after the pandemic, they wanted to have a group catch-up session.
Mm-hmm.
So, I structure with 3 questions before the group catch-up, then post the you know catch up conversation, and everybody had chance to talk to people they are interested in, or some people's projects they're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
um, that kind of conversation and kind of engagement is what the organizer can do. And also it helps all personalities, not like I'm an introvert, there is
Right.
no chance for me to speak.
Right.
Right, so we have questions beforehand. We're like, okay, so people, we're gonna have a test after everybody talks. So whose project are you most interested in? Whose project do you wish that you had come up with?
Mm-hmm.
And then with those kind of mechanism, we encourage or inspire people to listen better, because they're gonna have conversations after everybody talks. So they were like, okay, so yeah, we forced them basically to answer those questions, and they will listen more. And we have another format. We call it empathy cafe. So then we designed listening mechanism into it as well, so
Mhm.
that it works for extrovert, ambivert, and introvert.
Interesting.
This is what I'm thinking, like from organizer perspective.
Nice.
Another insights I got from a research, because focus group research is from my a school I went to, Raman school. So the people actually don't like the panel discussion. They felt like the talents in the audience are like so much.
Yeah. Good.
We have so many talents in the audience, and the organizer is not taking advantage of that. It's usually 4 people or 3 people on the panel. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, like totally respectable and respectful.
Hmm.
But we only have an hour, so how do we leverage the talents in the audience?
Right. Right.
Is a question like from our focus group and people ask
Interesting.
about. So
Interesting.
that's why we design things differently. And I want to try empathy cafe, at my office as well. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
that's
That's
what.
cool. Jennifer, I'm involved in other networking groups, and I've seen, where what I find is that if it's just strictly like meeting people, connecting with people, or whatever, fine.
Mm,
But we want to get something out of it. And I tell people, look for a group where you can benefit not just from the people, but maybe the education, or the extension of some of the group, or where it reaches. And I'm very happy, like in one of the networking groups that I'm in, we do have a panel, but it's members driven panel. So
mm,
we're bringing our success stories, we're bringing our experience, and we're sharing it as a panel on a theme. No one's selling, no one's pitching.
yeah.
It's all about, hey, and I did a panel, and I'll give you an example where we did a case study for one of our members who was thinking of expanding into Europe.
Mm,
And we did a 20-minute panel on it, and people walked out there going, wow, the questions were really good. And that's what you hope to get out of these networking events, is not just meet people, have a
mm,
cocktail or a canapé or whatever that you're having, but something that you could go back to home or to the office and go, that was good. That was helpful.
yeah.
And that's what you're hoping for from a networking group.
You just reminded me. It's actually time frame is so important. The panel members. If we can rotate within an
Oh,
organization,
yeah.
right? We
Sure.
can do it in 6 months, and
Well,
right.
we're
So
doing
every month we have a rotation of panels,
nice.
and
Nice.
that works too. That's a structure
Absolutely.
out of a 6 months framework. Um, yeah, the structure I was talking about is within 2 hour, within an hour. So
Right.
it depends on how we design it
Gotcha.
for a purpose and for a
Understood.
intent.
Understood. And I and I want to share something else with everybody, is that as we're close to wrapping up our
Mm,
another one of our wonderful episodes, stop thinking networking is just for salespeople. I
yeah.
mean, I cannot, for the love of God, I'm every time I go into a room where I see salespeople, I leave the room because they're on a purpose. Their mission is not my mission. As a business
Mhm,
owner, my mission is to talk to other like-minded individuals.
mhm,
So if I wanted to be in a room of salespeople, that's wonderful. But I don't. I actually do spend my time with business owners, like-minded individuals.
mhm,
I, to quote Ivan Meisner, I network up. I'm looking to meet people who can take me to another level.
mhm,
And so if you're a business owner, solopreneur, professional, and you're thinking that's only for salespeople, you are missing a golden opportunity, because the amount of intelligence, amount of experience, and sharing of willingness to help others in that room is extraordinary. And what you
mhm,
said about the panels is what got me thinking about it. Is, yeah, I'm telling you I'm good at what I do, and yeah, I'm sharing my experiences, but I can learn from someone. The value of that is extraordinary.
mhm,
And I know lawyers and accountants and insurance people and people in other industries, and I can have a conversation with them, and I can get thousands of dollars of great advice for free, because
yeah,
we have a relationship.
yeah,
And that's something that's just, there's no value you could put to that.
yeah. So to add on to that, and I know we're wrapping up today's episode, I wanted to say my last sentence for today is show up, don't show off. So
Right.
I understand networking is, can be frustrating and
Mm-hmm.
be intimidating, but show up. Um, it will benefit. And if the situation or the organization is not, up to your liking, change it, design it differently, do it yourself.
Absolutely. And the one thing I also tell business owners is very simple. Salespeople are salespeople. But when you're in a room of networkers, people who really want to connect, you've now got dozens possible of ambassadors who are out there talking about you,
Yeah.
connecting with you, expanding your circle of reach. And so it's not that it's a transactional thing. It
Mhm,
might you might be looking for your next great employee. And someone
mhm,
says, "Hey, I want to connect you with so and so because they're looking for someone like you." It could be, "Oh my God, I got a partner, a supplier that's really worthy of you meeting." It's not just about the transactional. It's not about the next deal. Think of what your business will look like in 2030 and say, who should I meet today so that by 2030 I've reached that opportunity, that scaling. That's big.
mhm.
Don't think today. Think about tomorrow.
Yes. So we're wrapping up
There
today's
we go.
episode, and happy networking. And if you have anything to share, and please leave a comment, share with us, and reach out to us. Happy to network with you.
Please feel free to connect, and we look forward to speaking to you. And folks, Jennifer is a phenomenal fractional chief marketing officer. Marketing is her
Thank you.
expertise. Strategy. If you have any questions or you want to really have a interaction, connect with Jennifer. Look out, please reach out. Our information is here, but also you can reach her out on LinkedIn. Same with me. Feel free, reach out. Love to talk about revenue growth. So until next time, Jennifer,
Bye for now.
take care, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.